Alright, this is round 3 of Orange Crystal. We have Retrop versus Kanave. Kanave looks to be using Henry, Retrop using Oboro. Um, yeah. Oboro is generally trying to be as aggressive and fast as possible, and Henry's trying to be super slow as possible. Um, and while controlling your opponent's hand by making them discard. This is.
Um,
Oh, go.
Boss man, can you explain how this matchup generally works out?
Um, it, if they're using Red Henry, it is very much in Oboro's favor usually, just because Red Henry is slower because of Jenny and a bunch of other things. You have enough resource generation to be able to still crit the Medius, and since the Henry needs a lot of bonds to be able to use Jenny effectively, they're going to be trying to keep their bond count high, which is in favor for Oboro. It's probably one of the main reasons why Black Henry is better, is just because you can keep your bond count at 3 and not be affected. Um, where,
This seems to be red.
yeah, it is hard. Well, I think me and CM are the only ones that play Black, so I was always expecting red. Um, it it's just, yeah, your red is just slower because the Jenny and a bunch of other things that it's harder for them to really screw over the Oboro by constantly flipping bonds face down, among a few other things. Like they're already bonding Triandra, which is a very good card for uh, Black Henry. And the
If I
first
was the Henry player, I would have probably attacked Takumi and then cut my losses later
um
when it comes to discarding.
yes, that's probably the best idea, just because it can stop the Oboro from immediately class changing drawing 2 again. Um, it, it just depends on how big your support base is, and oh, they've class changed Takumi, so yeah, turns out that would have 100% been the better idea. Because if they have a 3-cost archer as well, or even a 2-cost from something like automation, which can, well, automation makes it so your backline is completely safe for Henry. Either version. Actually, not 100% against
Mm,
red, but or black, but yeah.
that's very good.
Yeah, that's keyed into another draw. Uh, but this does now make, if they do it, Triandra is now online. If they have if they have a third Triandra, they can now start screwing things over. Not this turn, obviously, because all the bonds are flipped, but next turn or whatnot, it can. But there's a third. Okay, if they now need a fourth Triandra in their hand, which would be very weird to see so many Triandras this early. Also, not using Takumi deploy. Um,
Guess there's no relevant target.
yeah, if you don't have the cost one, like Kuragi or Setsuna wouldn't be helping you here, so you don't want to deploy them because they're discard fodder. Because Henry's going to blow himself up and cause you to discard. So, and yeah, stuff like
And
this.
speaking of this card,
Yep, stuff like this is the reason why automation is super safe. Are you discarding something face down? Um, okay, no, they were just waiting until opponent did it as well. But yeah, if they were able to get automation on the board through like Takumi skill, this would make this Jenny unable to attack, um, and you're just perfectly safe. That would have caused them to draw deploy the 3-2 Jenny to get this attack off, which is not what you want to
and
do.
she hit. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Jenny actually manages to hit because the 10 support.
This
Obviously,
is interesting
considering Retrop's
because
thinking so
if
much,
he
yeah, this is
dodges
fine.
here, -2 brings him to 1, and you have to probably keep Ryoma in hand.
Um, Oh, getting rid of Kaze.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that means you have to bond whatever you draw and deploy Ryoma for any kind of card advantage.
Yep.
And now you're top decking whatever you draw as a target. Yeah, this is miserable.
I mean, if you top deck, okay. That's why getting rid of the Kaze was kind of weird here, because Kaze is just your crit engine, and once they are Medius, it's your way of dealing with them. Um,
True, but getting rid of Ryoma would be also kind of a disaster.
yeah. And there's no reason to use
Here's
a
the
skill.
oh, sorry.
Oh, no, part.
So here is the advantage that the black version has, because the black version will be able to class change Elise
Yep. Yeah,
and
uh,
gain an orb.
yeah, on turn 4, you can start adding orbs. Medius can't really also use his draw skill until you're able to Jenny consistently. Because if you start using Medius' draw skill, you're getting rid of your bonds, and that means Jenny will never be able to overclass, and you'll never be able to add orbs. Um, Black is just faster, but its highs are a lot lower, because the most orbs you ever get is 1. But usually 1 is all you need.
Right. But you know,
Yeah.
Kanave's belief on like Henry is, if you're not doing the scummy, you go big or go home. Are you really playing him? And I agree.
Fair.
Henry should be the silly bizarro of it. And oh my god, this is actually a disaster.
Yeah, this is actually terrible, all things considered, because they're going to flip that bond face down. Um, so that means Oboro's in the same position where they need to bond something, deploy something.
Right. And while Jenny's a bit slow, next turn you can overclass if you don't remove it.
Yep. Also, is it Kanave or Kanave? I've always done Kanave, but I just might be wrong.
Oh, I'm not sure actually.
Okay,
I
neither of us
say
know. Cool.
yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce her tag
It's all
at
good.
all.
If they watch it, well, we might get actually told, but.
Hmm.
The thing about the backline Jenny is it's not relatively safe at any rate because of how many archers and the chances of a ranged unit, because there's only 2 melee units, being Korin and um, Ryoma in Oboro's deck. The question is, did they do the funny and tech in Brave Veronica? Because I told them to do that yesterday. Oh, DV Kroggy. So archers gain plus 10 attack at the moment.
Getting rid of. Wait, actually, I'm pretty sure her list runs 12 Jennies.
Yes.
So there might be a dodge in there that can save this thing.
There likely is, but they're not doing it. No, oh, they're going back on that. Okay, they are dodging with
Oh,
overclass. So my assumption is going to be they have another overclass. Um, and yeah. But yeah, the Ryoma hasn't really done anything, so I'm pretty sure keeping Kaze would have been the better option just because it turns into a crit engine. And at this point, you're starting to fall behind, and Medius can now start grabbing orbs or sending away his bonds to get draws.
well, you still want to wait till next turn, but yeah.
No, there's no reason to. Next turn, you'll just bond something, you go up to 5, and do it again. We know there's a Jenny in orbs, so if you kill the Medius, they're just going to overclass again. So you need at least 2 to 3 hits to kill. And I don't think we've seen a Medius go into retreat yet. So chances are they have like 3 of them.
Hmm.
Or probably 2 in hand at this point, I would say.
This scenario is unwinnable for
Yep.
Oboro. To
At
be
this point, Oboro's out of gas. It's done. It's too late.
And now we're more or less waiting for Kana to like wrap everything up.
Yep. And healing Triandra and what else? I Henry. Okay.
She's in such a good position. All she has to do now is get her Henrys together.
Oh,
That
110.
doesn't hit.
No. Because everything's
No,
going to be 120 on defense, pretty much. Unless they self,
pretty
but
much.
yeah.
Mm.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So now they're going to hit Oboro once and then kill the Henry. Hit the Oboro once and kill the Henry.
Bye bye, Butterfree.
Which was Corin Mail and Oboro.
Yeah, so Oboro can't hit Medius right now.
Without a crit, no. So the
Yeah,
issue is they can't bond because Trianda will just flip it face down. So that means they need to keep the card in hand, and then they can always just get it Henried. You pretty much need to just hit face and crit, but once again, we have yet to see a Medius hit retreat. Kanave probably
yeah,
has
she
2
she
to 3 in hand.
definitely has some. Oh, there there's the funny card. It's the Medius exclusive card more or less, Elise.
Yeah.
Well, Red Medius exclusive, I suppose.
Well, both. Yeah.
Can you cover for over Elise for like the people at home?
Elise? I did. I was actually bringing up the English. It's just flip one, tap her, heal a dodge for your main character, and flip two, deploy anything from Boundless, pretty much.
Right. So this card enables Henry Medius to grab anything that Medius sends to Boundless. It's a really good like connector card.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's one of the major issues with Black Henry is you don't have that. Just because your only red cards, at least that I run, is Marth. Um, so they actually have enough cards here to bond one and deploy things, but they're deciding not to do it. Which is a little odd. But yeah, I don't think a single Medius hit retreat. I'm just scrolling through the entire deck reset to double check that. Yeah, not a single Medius hit retreat. So this is 100%.
Oh my god. Which Celica destroys this deck? Is she going to deploy it? That
No,
actually would be devastating.
I don't think it hurts Oboro too much because she can just technically class change from retreat again. Granted, not two face-up bonds, which makes it
Well,
hard.
you can't clash change via skills.
Oh, right, yeah, you can't. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Means...
this. If you ever get the skill off against Oboro specifically, she loses.
I mean, yeah. I would say almost anything actually loses when that thing goes off. It's just too expensive because it's no matter what a minus. It pretty much takes your entire next deploy phase away. Is the best way to take. It's the best way to explain that card. And that's if you actually have your main promo in hand still, and you don't just have like bridges for dodges. Like, it can really fuck you up at times.
Okay, so Retrop now has drawn for 4 turns. Will he
But
do anything?
still
No.
not doing anything. Not deploying, not anything. The only thing so far that they're doing is trying to keep their bonds the same number. This stops the Trianda from doing things. The issue with that is Medius is just drawing cards because they're just going to send one of their bonds to Boundless, stay at 6, and draw a card.
Oh,
Oh, my
we
my
are
least
having
favorite
some
Pete.
money moves. So now, here's the gameplay loop. Um, we're going. Henry, Medius is going to stay at 6 to 7. Oh, that hits because of
Yep, that's a 30
tandem.
support.
And yeah, they're gonna stick at like that low hand size space. I mean, low bond space of 7 to 6 off revels. So anytime anytime Retrop bonds a card, he has to go to 7 bonds unless he plays a current 6, which I guess can like do stuff like that to make Triandra always free.
Yeah. That's why like Black Henry tries to stay at like 3 to 4 in my opinion, is just because you're always able to Triandra and then just completely screw over your opponent. And considering the highest deployment cost you run is 4, you're perfectly fine with that. It gets rid of some options like double deploying, but it's really not that bad.
Oh, taking only face downs. That's deadly.
It means Takumi can't deploy anything. But it also depends on what that face up orb is. Sadly, we can't see it, but if it's absolutely terrible, I wouldn't blame it. And yep, we're at 6 bonds each.
Yeah, even if the face up's terrible, you probably still want to take it.
Yeah, just because
At this point,
it'll allow Takumi to deploy something, anything. But you're still at 6 bonds, so their only good deploy choice is Ryoma, and that's if they have it. Granted, Retrop's just screwed anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You could technically do Kaze into a lot of cost 1s and crit, but there's no Kaze.
If this was 4 crits, that this probably would not kill.
Yeah, and this is the exact reason why Face Up Orb would have been nice, is because it would have got them at least the automation on board. And okay, there's a crit. They're probably just trying to make this one attack enough to win, except for the fact that there's 3 Medius in hand. Metasai? Medius.
That's a self that cannot crit, so I doubt she's dead.
Yeah. Well, even if it was a crit, if all 3 of these attacks hit, that's your 3 dodges and you're still fine. You got the crit.
Oh, crit? No? Oh, well.
They keyed it. They got
that's interesting.
Oboro crit.
As a play.
Oh,
and that's a miracle emblem, so you cannot crit. Wow.
Yeah. No. Retrop, it didn't matter, buddy.
Yeah, her ass was not dying.
Sorry, there has yet to be a Medius support. The one weakness of Medius is that 0 support, and it has yet to ever come up.
Yeah, Kanave literally deck reset, so we know all 3 of them are in her.
Yeah.
So
yeah, even they're saying it definitely didn't matter.
Yeah. That's 3. Yup, that's 2, and then we can mire 1 more.
Honestly, I don't actually even know really why they're doing this, because it really doesn't matter.
Wow.
What do you mean there's no way? You haven't seen them.
Okay, so this confirms Retrop is not paying attention to what supports are.
I understand how that feels, though.
Oh yeah, but like, god damn it, man! Not a single Medius ever hit support. They either top decked every single one, or it was in orbs. Like,
yeah, that had to be the perfect Henry game for Red Henry. She everything went her way, more or less. That was great for her.
Yep, 100%. Alright. So game 2. Oh, double
Oh,
Linhart. Okay.
well,
That can be
yep, okay.
questionable because that means they didn't mulligan and they had 2 Linharts. Um, that's usually not what you're going for in your starting hand. And we're going straight into automation, which is always a good option. Just because it pretty much protects your entire backline from Jenny. They'll have to raw deploy the 3-2 to be able to clear anything effectively.
Ooh, that's a miss.
Yep. Are they going to crit with main promo? No.
I don't think you crit here. You're fighting Henry.
Yeah.
You still want to like
Yeah,
insulate yourself with a card in hand as a discard target.
exactly. Oh, getting the double colored bond already.
No harm not to. Wait, did you
Oh,
what mullet?
no promo. Did they mulligan? Did they mulligan and miss promo?
I don't think she did.
Nope, Kanave. They did they did mulligan. They just must have missed promo.
Oh,
So yeah, Henry is definitely super reliant on getting his promo just because it's the main idea of Henry is you're supposed to stop your opponent from being able to do things. Um, and well, he ain't stopping shit. Right now.
yeah. Honestly, wrap it up.
I mean, it's not completely over because stuff like this can happen. Also, because if Oboro just selfs and can't hit consistently, it doesn't matter. Also, if they get Medius, it can still keep them alive. And, well, yeah.
Yeah, her general game plan right now is survive until she reaches around 6 bonds
Yep.
and try to transition into Medius because
Yeah. You're just
yeah,
you're just playing the same game plan, except your opponent actually has more cards, which means that they can crit against Medius a lot more consistently, which is not great. Alright, that's a discard 2, getting rid of main promo and a crit. What else? Satsuna. Okay.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
That implies no Takumi.
uh, it does, because Karagi is probably the worst option here at the moment. Kana also would have been fine to get rid of for the most part. Kaze. Okay, they've already set up the crit engine, so they are going to try and be faster and more aggressive, it seems.
True, but that also means that if you really think about it, every dodge is a dark emblem.
Um, yeah, but if both people are going -1, it doesn't matter as much. And there's the Witch Silica, so this'll hit.
Yeah, you just eat this one.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, Kazi
Though,
kind of did nothing. That might
no,
be real.
he didn't really do anything, true. But he still did, he's just there for added pressure. Because now Henry has the terrible choice of what do you do about the Kaze? The Kaze needs to pretty much go away before you go into Medius to be able to do it safely. And if you can't remove him, what are you doing? Because you can just die to almost anything as soon as you don't get one of your miracle emblems. Kaze is just the biggest threat that Oboro has.
In this matchup specifically, that is her best card.
Yeah. Usually it's Ryoma. In this case, it is 100% the Kaze. That's why they were thinking about do they dodge or not, is because they have the choice. Either they take the hit, and then they Henry, go into Medius, and then the Medius attack hits the Kaze. The issue with that is, what happens if the Kaze dodges? You're screwed. Um, or do they just dodge and now they at least you have to punch through the Henry a few times? The issue
Well,
with
in
punching
that
through,
scenario, if Kaze dodges, they'll
re-
be down 3 cards. They're top decking, so it's not miserable, but it's not great.
yeah, it's still just they can top deck any cost one to crit, and that's usually enough of a threat. See, they're raw deploying Jenny in the front line just to probably deal with the Kaze. They can't do the class change things because automation. But yeah, they're probably going to heal Medius and Henry. All right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a crit plus
But now,
input promo.
Henry cannot pop himself. You don't have the bonds to be able to do that. So Oboro was going to stay at a decently sized hand. And there's the Kaze dodge.
You don't need a crit. That's actually very good.
Yeah, that 30 support definitely saving them there. Because yeah, the biggest threat is now gone, and you know your opponent doesn't have another one. Because that dodge is what you
Yeah,
should do there, because the Henry is not likely to hit.
yeah. Retrop, he milled 3 Kazes. They generally run only like 3 or 4. I mean, generally run around 3. They don't usually max out on Kaze.
Yeah, you
So
usually
the
don't
odds
need
of
to.
him showing up again is
Yeah.
low enough,
I
I suppose.
don't really agree with this attack, but alright. To me, there's just no real reason to do it. The Henry's already on death door. You punch him 3 times, the Jenny's dead. The Jenny's not overclassing for Henry. I would have just ignored it.
Punching 3 times is hard because we know there's a Henry in hand and
Yes,
there's an
but
orb.
the question is that Henry in hand there for Henry, or is that Henry in hand there for Medius?
That's true, but like you can still definitely say that it's not safe enough for you
Yeah.
to do that.
I was just meaning like this. I would have done this attack first, and then made my choice depending on if automation hit or not. Because automation
Oh,
hitting would make me go, okay, going face all the time. If automation got dodged or missed, not going face. That's pretty much would have been my decision maker, is does automation hit? So I would have attacked with auto first. That's it. Also, Oboro is not able to draw this turn. They're going to draw next turn, as long as they don't get Triandrad. And Henry's sticking around for at least a little bit. Granted, Henry can always kill himself at any time, make your opponent discard 2, and become Medius in this situation. But he's just going to try and crit the Ryoma, I'm assuming. Yep, there it is. And this is where they get surprised by a second Ryoma. Okay, flip 2, draw 2. It's alright. And automations go first here unless they have a crit for it. Just because everything else is more likely to hit the Medius. But this works, this hits. Okay, they don't want to go into Medius yet. That is uncommon. Oh, we got an automation hit again. We know that they had at least one Medius in hand, so they healed one, and I think they actually don't have a dodge. But they do not. Retrop does not have the crit to finish the game, I think. That is a shame, because that is probably the single best opportunity Retrop had to win the game right there. Because I think this turn they're going to start Jennying, and, well, that's another Medius probably going to Orbs. And I just realized I lost my commentator. And yep, there goes the Jenny. Hmm? Yeah, yeah. And there's the Medius going to orbs. And clearing board. Alright. Ryoma's always a good option. It's probably the best out. Honestly, using Ryoma's skill, not the worst idea here. Just because if you pressure them enough right now... No. Yeah. Self. Retrop, I think, forgot to draw with Ryoma's skill. The entire point of Ryoma usually attacking is that, yep, and there it goes. Kanave nice enough to allow that to happen. And then Retrop swapping out the actual draw with the one that he would have got, and going into a crit. Taking the Medius dodge. That is not a miracle. Yep. So in my personal opinion, they should have used Ryoma's skill to flip one for plus 20 in this case. It wouldn't have been enough to actually kill. The idea behind it is, well, you use Brothers, you get a third unit out, then you flip one for plus 30, and then you're 100 on 100, and you can hit. It wouldn't have worked out in this exact situation, sadly, but yeah. It also would depend on what their hand situation was, if they don't have a good deploy, or if the Ryoma draws was the Ryoma crit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, yep. They can get both Reese and Jenny overclass. So now they're just in a point where they're going to be slowing down the game completely, adding an orb, plussing 30, because 100 isn't big enough, as we all know. You need to be 130. And Jennying up probably another Medius. This game is pretty much over. Triandro for denial, and what else? Another Medius dodge. So they have one dodge in hand and they have one orb. Not looking too good. Don't dodge this. This is an easy take. If you dodge it, Ryoma's going to swing it.
Good game.
Yeah, Retrop just calling it. That makes
Good
sense.
game.
And yeah. Normal Medius versus Oboro things. You gotta, or Henry versus Oboro things. You gotta go fast. You gotta kill them like turn 3 or turn 4. If you fail to do that, you lose the game pretty much. Anyway, yeah.